Well, welcome everyone. This is Mark Harris, and we are on the Advanced Monetization Strategies Hangout here with my co-host Alex Mandossian. Say hi, Alex.
Hey everybody, and I hope we're going to see you in Oceanside. There's a button for you to click, and we're going to do everything we can to convince you to click that button.
Exactly. And what's really exciting about that is that ultimately it not only won't cost you anything, it will make you a lot of money to click that button. So what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about really advanced monetization strategies. We've been talking a lot about this in the last couple of weeks, but one of the big things was an aha moment for me was how Alex has been studying. Actually, for the last several years, he's been doing some amazing trainings in the area of membership sites and even membership marketing of all kinds. And he's got a number of different strategies regarding that we're going to talk about. And this is really, it has become the leading monetization strategy for a lot of different reasons. And there's a real big reason we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But overall, Alex, why don't you tell everybody a little bit of background about why membership sites and membership marketing can be so powerful in the area of really monetization?
Well, the most important piece of membership marketing, not just membership site marketing, there's a challenge there. Membership site marketing pigeonholes you into thinking I'm going to make money from recurring income. Now, I'm not saying that's what you do, but it pigeonholes you in the thinking and the perception. Membership marketing is to attract members, and members are part of a community. Customers are not, prospects are not, suspects are not, even multi-buyers who are not members are not, but members are. And the reason that's so important, it's almost like having a membership card. If it's a free membership or a paid membership, it really doesn't matter. Member espouses, suggests, insinuates community. And I believe there's no such thing as a self-made entrepreneur. There's a community-made entrepreneur, right? It takes a village, a membership village, to create an entrepreneur, not just to educate a child, but to create an entrepreneur who is well-liked or people know where they stand. Now, the goal to building membership is membership marketing. And the goal to membership marketing is community building. And whether you're selling something, or you're teaching something, or you're training something, or you're introducing something, whatever that something may be, you speak differently to members, more familiar, than you do to customers, prospects, or suspects. So that's the key difference, is the difference between a member and a customer. Members have a relationship with each other. They're connected not only with you, but with each other, whereas the customer is only connected with you. In the days of 2001, 2002, I borrowed a philosophy that Socrates laid down, or he gets credit for it. It was called the Ask methodology. We created a whole database over it. It was my first six-figure deal. And I had some of the best thought leaders in internet marketing space back then and today model that, because the idea was ask them what they want, get the feedback, and then give them what they said they wanted. That was the beginnings of members, because even though they were customers, they were closer to membership as prospects, because they wanted to show up to see, on the teleseminar in this case, whether their question would be asked and what are the other questions that they didn't ask that would be asked. And they started to get and gather with each other. And then when I had teleseminars with my teleseminar secrets, where we had Facebook comments, first time ever that anyone had ever done that, now they were trialoguing with each other. They weren't just dialoguing with me, they were trialoguing, which we plan to do at the membership site intensive. Membership site, okay, that really sends people in a different direction mentally. It should be member marketing intensive, because that's what you're fishing for, our members. We'll get more deeply into that, but I hope that is at least an incentive to keep listening, because your mindset and your point of view must be different when you're attracting a member. You must work a lot harder for them to get a member versus going after a prospect or a customer. You can get a squeeze page up to get prospects. You can have an assessment for members, because you know a lot more about them. Back to you, Mark.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what happens is they start actually looking at themselves differently as well. And of course, as you start to not only bring them into a situation where they see themselves as a community and having a relationship with you, but if you start doing ask methodology type things and assessment type things, you start to kind of not only know a lot about them, you get to do a lot of the one-on-one marketing, kind of like in a Peppers, Rogers and Peppers kind of deal way, or in a situation where you know so much about them that you can effectively create some pretty neat, amazing things in a relationship way, and that ultimately that's what allows you to, I guess, create the monetization you're looking for, because you know them more than anybody else. Is that basically what you're saying?
Well, not only do you know them, it is partly what I'm saying, but they also know each other, so you get a lot more referral marketing because the referrals are public. Now that can sink you as fast as well, so you got to be careful that you've got the goods with membership marketing. Here's the interesting thing: whoever said you need a squeeze page to get new people? Why can't you just have a membership site username and password, just like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn does? And why can't that be your squeeze page so you get them into a free membership site? That will lock them in so that they read your emails a lot more than if you do it the traditional way, which is going after customers. So whoever said that you need to have just an email or a first name and an email, why not have an email, username, and password just like Facebook does? And that happens to be the most valuable and successful squeeze page on earth. That's what Facebook is. So give them the right to talk to each other, and people will follow you because they know the type of people you attract. That's what a thought leader is. A thought leader leads other people who are thinking in a similar way, and people know what I stand for. They know what you stand for, so they want to be part of a membership, not because of us as much as they know who else will be there. People are coming to the membership site intensive not just because of me. They know I'm going to over-deliver with content. They expect it. I've spoiled them for that. But that's not why they're coming. Ultimately, when I ask them, because we ask them, why are you coming? The number one reason they tell us is because of the other people they anticipate being there.
Yeah, that's true. That makes a lot of sense. Most events I've been finding that people really, not only enjoy the networking, but that's how they end up making most of their money. And so, we've always gone to lots of events, you and I, because that's the best way for us to create joint ventures. And that's the same situation for us. So here's the question then. So if you're going to focus on some of these monetization angles, what are some of these things? And I know it leads up to a really big one that we're going to talk about in a little while. But what are some of these monetization strategies that really can work to lead people? And I know you have all kinds of different ways of looking at it. And not everybody can get your different funnel approaches and things like that. So how would you start explaining the monetization side of this whole thing?
All right. Well, these are advanced monetization strategies, and they are advanced. And advanced means that this is not your first rodeo. And if you come to our event, you'll go from beginner to advanced in 2.5 days. That's what we specialize in. The pre-training alone before you get there will get you at least to intermediate stage. Now, we are making a distinction between members versus customers, which I just made. Members have relationship with you and the others around them in the membership. Customers only have a relationship with you. Okay? They're dialoguing with you. Many times people only monologue with them, but they're dialoguing if you're good. These guys are trialoguing. What's a trialogue? A trialogue is where they're dialoguing with you, and then the third log is with each other, which we actually do the trialogue game at the membership site intensive, so you see the way it works. And you ask 3 basic questions, which you'll learn and you'll ask if you decide to come, if you click that button that you see somewhere on the right or left of the page. And then opt-in versus username. Why just get an opt-in with an email address? Why not ask for their username and make up a new password and get them in? Many sites that have graphics or, I did some postcard campaigns that are working extremely well to get people into the event, and I purchased these images, these image sites. You need a username and password to get in. You don't just opt in, because once they get you in the membership, you by definition don't want to be a member to too many other country clubs, too many other sites. So as a member, you're more likely to read the emails, to open up the inbox, because you have made a much deeper and more intimate commitment and connection with them. Okay,
that makes a lot of sense what you just said, and I hope everybody caught that, because think about what you're saying. You're saying that that in a given niche, right? Because I mean, you may have a membership site for like, you know, one thing or several different things, and you don't have a problem with having 10 membership sites for different stuff. Okay, but if you can be the one in your niche that they go to, why would they necessarily be in a second one? It makes no sense for them to do that. So you become the de facto place where they congregate regarding your niche, and I think that's a beautiful distinction there.
They're less likely to be members somewhere else, is all I'm saying. They can be, but they're a lot more likely to be a member of another niche, but you know, not so much yours. So that's ultimately what I'm saying. Now, when it comes down to being able to be the de facto or the really the gold standard, people will opt in the same niche to a lot of people a lot more often than they will to a membership. So that begs the question, you know, what is the essence of having members? Well, it's ultimately having more opportunity to monetize. And when you have more opportunity to monetize, then there are strategies you use, not tactics that become obsolete, but actual strategies. So here's the first strategy: recurring income. When you have a member and you have the ability to charge them on an ongoing basis, it could be $17 a month, $27 a month, $37 a month. For me, $79 a month. I've seen $599 a month, depending on what type of membership site it is. You've got the recurring income. Now, that is not the reason why you need a membership site. Maybe if you're Netflix, it'll pay big, but even Netflix makes more money above the $8 a month people pay them. So the recurring income is just one of many. Another strategy is assessment marketing. Now, what is assessment marketing? Well, assessment marketing is having an assessment, having a way for people to assess themselves to see how they stack up. I'll show you an example of one of my assessments in just a moment. In fact, I'm going to go there right now.
I'll tell you, while you're doing that, let me say something real quick. So here's the, you know, I was thinking, you know, as the introduction video to this particular Hangout, I was talking about not only Facebook, but, you know, we had people like Amazon who not only have, you know, hundreds of millions of members, they have over 160 million credit cards on file, which means that these members are highly monetizable. So one of the recurring income things, of course, is when they come back to you again and again. The whole idea of a credit card on file is by definition your first strategy, which is, of course, this recurring income, right? That they're willing to spend money with you over and over again, and that's the kind of models that I know you're teaching at the membership site intensive. But go ahead.
Well, so for the assessment, before people even come into the assessment, I'm going to bring the person who created the value quiz, which isn't a customized assessment tool with customized statements, but an assessment is where when you have a member, they've already told you that they're interested not only in each other, but in themselves. So I don't like giving an assessment just to a lead or a prospect. I like to give one to members because members tell each other. So this is called the funnel marketing blueprint assessment. And I start by saying nothing is more important in putting your business into high growth mode than designing an effective lead generation and sales conversion system that generates more opt-ins and builds more engaged lists and easily converts high-end clients without rejection. That's the key word. And then I go into why do this, and then I have these sections here, if you can see it. So there's vision, mindset, strategy, implementation, and commitment. Now, this is only to my existing members, and so they read a statement. I am clear, I'm crystal clear, and have a vivid vision for what my funnel looks like. Well, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, they put 7. And then here's another one. I know the importance of having a different marketing funnel for each new niche I serve. Maybe they only see 3 there. So that's under vision. They score it, and then all this is being automatically done in the background. We'll actually have the value quiz there. They're one of our sponsors to the event, so you can check them out, and I'll give you a link where to find them and the Harris family, you know, when we presented that. But we have implementation, we have commitment. Now, here's the beauty of assessment marketing. Here's how you monetize it. If they have high commitment, meaning if they get a score of 35 or more, that's, you know, 5 7s or more, If eligible, I'm ready to schedule a private live funnel marketing strategy session. 8. If eligible, I'm open to discuss my future funnel marketing blueprint and income goals. 9. If eligible, I'm willing to get coaching in funnel marketing areas where I feel stuck. 7. If eligible, I'm motivated to invest in myself and craft a profitable marketing funnel. See, I'm pre-selling them there. And if eligible, I'm inspired to discover my own inner voice may be holding me back. That's a 10. Okay, now, if they get less than 35, which is less than 35 divided by 5, that means less than 7, then they don't go to a strategy session. However, if they do, then they go to a live strategy session. And the reason for that is that if they have high commitment, they talk to a human being. If they have low commitment, they get an offer, which is an irresistible offer in the form of a how-to product. So that's assessment marketing. That's a great monetization strategy. Strategy number 3.
Before you go to 3, hold on. So yeah. Number 2 is pretty it's pretty exciting because ultimately you're doing it in an advanced form of Ask Database, where in this case you're asking them all kinds of questions about really what they want, and then you're giving it back to them depending on what they want, number 1, but also you're also filtering them by whether or not they're even committed at whatever level, and that could be monetary level, it could be, you know, where they're at their business level, it could be a lot of different things. But the whole point is now you only spend your time talking to really people who are ready to talk to you and therefore can actually become clients of yours at a high level. And actually, don't you use that when you're dealing with your premium client type of conversion too? Is that the basis of that?
It is the basis because, Mark, the number one reason why people get rejection in any sales or enrollment or engagement conversation or enrollment process, number one reason is they're talking either to the wrong market, or they're talking to the right market with the wrong message, or the worst of all is talking wrong message to wrong market. You need the right message to the right market. We've talked about it in previous Hangouts. Mm-hmm. And the way to be able to get that is first make sure that they're highly committed. If they're not committed, then you're going to get rejected. 80% of all rejection is due to them not. 75% is wrong market, right message, wrong message, right market, or wrong market, wrong message. That's 75% of the 4, almost 80%. So at least with commitment, I know that they want to meet with me. And that's where most people go wrong. No one knows how committed someone is for a strategy session, and it's like pouring cold water on them. So the strategy session leads to a much more engaging, or the assessment leads to a much more engaging strategy session. All right. Now,
so what's actually also happening, and I'll let you go on that in just a second, but I just had to say this because it's so powerful, and I don't want anybody to miss this because it really is amazing. The fact that if you have whether you have 5,000 people on your list or 500,000 people on the list, the fact is you can't talk to them all. So what Alex is saying, through this assessment process, you talk to really only the people you can talk to. Everybody else goes through, we'll call it an automated funnel, if you will, and gets sent to more of a productizing type version of what you teach or what you offer or what you do. And this way, they can be sold a lesser product or a lesser maybe cost product or something that can at least be automated where you don't have human intervention. Brilliant strategy. I love it. Now you can go to number 3 if you want.
Well, and the thing is, it's a way to protect your confidence, because the reason people quit working is their confidence has been shot. Now, the next strategy is upgrade marketing, and upgrade marketing is from a strategy session, from an assessment, or from email, or anything that you're doing. A member is more likely to buy something else. When I was selling the value quiz on behalf of my partner Jane Duber, my members were the only buyers. You know, mm-hmm. I got 80% of the sales, you know, between the two of us from an actual webinar that I did, and obviously because people were from my list, but they were all members. 100% of them were members. No one in my opt-in list bought, but people from my free membership did buy. So upgrade marketing. If you're a loyal McDonald's goer, you're going to buy a Happy Meal deal more often because it becomes a habit. And that's one of the reasons why free membership's a good idea. Strategy sessions, okay, now this is the one-on-one or one-on-many approach, and I only do strategy sessions with members. In fact, I even make it special to members. I say membership privileges, you'll get a free strategy session. I call it a rapid revenue interaction. And the eligibility is you have to be a member. right?
Wow.
And it's almost like, they know I'm enrolling them into something, but there's also value there. It's a free coaching session, and only members can get it. And then the fifth one for today is new JV deals or sales opportunities. The first thing I ask people when they come into my membership is, what other membership websites have they been part of? And so what a great way for me to go to that membership thought leader and say, hey, did you know I just got a new client, his name is such and such, he used to be part of your membership, or he still is. Do you want a joint venture? Chances are we have a lot in common. And there you just ignite, spark a new conversation, the JV, and your member is a reason for it. You've cross-pollinating members, just like mutual friends in common, just like people who purchased this book have also purchased that book. It's the same philosophy that you have on Amazon or you have on Facebook. Just a very powerful strategy.
In fact, what you just said is actually very great. We know we've been talking the last year a lot about how important strategic partnering is. Of course, that's part of my core business. And what you're talking about here is really when you realize that a number of your clients already have another, leader, another trainer, another provider of some kind in the marketplace. It sends up a lot of signals that says, you know what, there's a lot of synergy here, and therefore you can actually strategically create a situation where you know this because you have members like this, and therefore they want to joint venture with you because they know that you know your clients, and they know because, hey, that's right, I know this guy's one of my clients, I know that guy's one of my clients, you know what, this makes a lot of sense, and they'd be willing to do that simply because you have that connection. Beautiful, beautiful strategy. I love it.
Yeah, and that's why they call it strategic joint venturing. It's just a matter of not wasting time. I never know if it's going to be useful or not for my time, but I do know I can put myself in the position to make the best use of my time. We have currently 12 slots left of an event that is limited to 108 people in the room. Now, we will have a standby list because typically in my case, 5 to 12% don't show up because of whatever reasons. So we'll oversell it by 5 or 10%. Now, this event, everyone is connected via laptop so that you'll have your keyboard, and when the time is right, you'll actually be making money in the room. I'm actually going to be paying you to do membership marketing with other team members, and you'll walk out with cash, not a check, with cash as a result of attending. No one's ever done it before, and you're going to be doing it live. And there will be a very important process where people from the outside will be watching, to the point of about 10 times as many will be watching from the outside versus the people inside the room. This is a membership model where you have a hangout in person inside the room and a hangout on air outside the room using YouTube Live as a version. So another strategy. Most of the people coming are members because they know, like, and trust me. Here's the best thing about membership marketing, which is not even making my cards list because I'm done with these cards, is a member, in my opinion and experience, this is my opinion because I've seen it through my list, and it's my experience because I've seen it on other lists. In my opinion and my experience, therefore my recommendation is members are 3 to 5 times more likely to recommend a friend or colleague than a customer or client. Let me repeat. A member is 3 to 5 times more likely to recommend another member, right, which is kind of like putting a client on steroids, a more intimate client, than a member is a more engaged client or customer. That's all it is. So if you have high-end members, that's better than high-end clients. Now, why is
there's a thing I want to say here, this real quick, because think about it. I think all of you watching this right now know this intuitively. If you had somebody who was a close client of yours, almost, and you're serving them, it would be very difficult for them not to refer you to somebody else. It'd be very difficult for them not to publicly acknowledge the fact that you're valuable, because they're still working with you and they want to validate their own decision to work with you and pay you and all this other stuff. Now, of course, if it's one-to-one, it's easy to see. It may not be as easy to see this in a membership type of way, but the fact is that it's really the same thing, only with varying levels of intimacy, right?
Well, the key point here is, if you go into history, death wasn't the worst punishment. Beheading, being hung, even crucifixion, right, which goes back to the times of antiquity, that did not even hold a candle. That's like ending your life. That's an atrocity. But that didn't hold a candle to probably the worst of all punishments, which is banishment. Being banished from society where you're still living, they send you outside the gates, and you're out in the wilderness, and you're just there fending for yourself. Loneliness is what most people fear, even more than public speaking. Part of public speaking fear is the fear of looking bad because you're alone up there. If you're there with a panel, you have less likely of a tendency to fear the public speaking because you're syndicating or you're sharing that fear with others, and there's almost like a group there or a membership. So the goal here is when you get a member in, the member is saying, hey, meet my other buddies, not only their leader. And that's where it's so important to get a first follower as a member. If you go to YouTube and click on first follower, we'll be showing that video at the event. You want not other leaders, you want other first followers who are willing to take the risk and say, join our community, not join his crusade or her crusade. It's a whole different thing. Every spiritual tradition in history always had a leader, but that leader's demise, except for a few traditions, usually ended early, you know, other than the Buddha. Most traditions I know of, they all ended early. Now, why? I don't know. That's up for assessment beyond the scope of this this training. But what I do know is if a spiritual tradition lasts for 1,500 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, then there has to be some validity, because that's an awful long time. That's 30 centuries, right? So when you look at why the spiritual traditions or any great, you know, nation as a group sticks together, it's because of belongingness, and it's because of membership. Feeling like they're a member of a group, which the leadership had a lot to do with, but there was a synergy where the leadership and the group, and probably the ethics and the morals and the creed of the group and what they stood for, like the Constitution we have, or the Magna Carta in the United Kingdom, it stood for something. And as a result, whether you are Johnson & Johnson, which, you know, their hide was saved because of their creed, which is a very simple creed. When the whole Tylenol scandal happened, they actually took a bump, and then they went way up because they lived by their creed, and they took all the product off the shelf. They took a hit short term, and then they went long term. Now, the leadership was really credited with that save, but I don't believe the leadership was really the big reason behind it. It was because of the J&J Creed, which started with their originators, the founding fathers and mothers of that company, and that is a membership. That's a family run of sorts. You know, in this case, it's a business family. Johnson & Johnson, you have a big family, much bigger than mine, but the family also is in the business. They're all involved. They're suppliers within the business. Yeah. And they do stuff, everything from taking pictures to editing to doing video to helping you out with the Hangout, so on and so forth. We're doing web work. So there's no one watching right now that can't do the exact same thing. And we're actually going to show you how to build a karmic marketing nest. It's a figurative term. How to build karmic marketing. Karma is in every spiritual tradition. It doesn't have to be called karma. You can call it cause and effect. But it's all based on what goes around comes around, and it works in business. You just have to do 2 things a day to 4 sets of people and watch what will happen to business in less than 3 months. It's not only has it been notarized over the years, it's built $100 million companies, and people still ignore it. So you can't lose by even trying. So the key is about membership, not membership sites, but membership marketing. It's a much more intimate and more engaged way of dealing with the public. You know, Google until recently didn't have membership, did they? They had AdWords, but that's a different kind of membership. Now they have membership with G+, and watch what's happening to Google. They're making a lot more money, as is Facebook. Google Plus has helped Facebook and Facebook ads work because now they have Google AdWords to compare to. So it's one membership against another, and that's why it works so darn well.
That's beautiful. And so what we've been talking about here is the power of membership and the power of membership marketing and the power of monetization because of all those things, and all the power of relationship, the power of being able to convince people, influence people, lead people. to going different ways because you have this kind of connection with them. So I want to now kind of switch a little bit from, because you should by now understand the power of marketing, using membership and some of the advanced monetization strategies we talked about here. But let's talk a little bit about the reasons why you need to really act now and act in this way towards the membership site intensive. Even though the name is, you'll probably change the name for next time for sure, because it's really not so much about the membership sites, even though that's one of the mechanisms that's discussed there. And I do want to actually touch on premium clients a little bit, maybe in just a little bit as well, just to add that. But first I want to say this, is that there are so many reasons why you need to not only attend this, but make this happen as a part of your business situation. Alex, do you want to go first, or should I give some of the great reasons why I see it being powerful?
Well, the number one reason why is because of the community who will be there in the room and outside the room. You, if you have any reach whatsoever, are going to double, triple, quadruple that reach, potentially. I can't promise you. Maybe dectuple, that's 10 times, by physically being there, because you're going to be connected to the internet. So if you get 5 likes a week, you'll get 50 that week. If you get 50 likes a week, you'll get 500, because there'll be people looking for you. If you have 5 followers a week on Twitter, you'll get 50. Now the reason I can say that is I've done 22 of these, and they've all been different models and different topics, but I see the activity. The membership is always there. The community is always there. So people are connected to the internet. What event do you go to where everyone is connected at the same time on an Ethernet connection, hardwired line connection, not Wi-Fi? You got to turn Wi-Fi off. And we're there with one purpose in mind, to get more exposure with everyone else watching, and there should be about 1,100 people involved altogether. Now, the goal to attend is to walk out with a better understanding of how to attract, that means how to qualify, high-end, or what I like to call premium clients, and convert them into ongoing members for life. Now, the mindset I want you to walk in with is, what if every client you got from now on became a member that you never lost? You never lost this member to a competitor or for someone outside of your realm of what you teach. I want my clients for life. I want my members for life. And so if I lose them, it's kind of like having a divorce, and a divorce is painful. So, or it's like a death, which is kind of like a divorce. Only they're still living, and they're probably giving their wallet share to somebody else because of something I did or something they didn't understand. So we're going to teach you the 3 M's of marketing in a whole different way. The first M is message clarity. We're going to clarify your message. 99% of the people I know, including thought leaders, cannot tell me what their message is. Like if I ask them, hey, what do you do? They don't know what a message is. But in the first 15 minutes of that event, you're going to be clear on your message, and you're going to practice it with 10 other people in the room until you get it right. Okay? So you will hear my message then. I'm not going to give it up, but it's crystal clear. And the key to the message is telling people who you're not for just as much as who you are for. In fact, I tell people who I'm not for first. That way I eliminate. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing...
Before you go there, I want to say one thing is you and your message is what you should be all about. And ultimately, if you don't know what that message is, or if you can't lead the market to adopt that message, there's no way you're going to change the world. There's no way you're going to change your marketplace. There's no way you're going to change a community, or create a community, or create a membership, or create even a series of followers, or whatever it is that you're looking to do, if you don't understand that message. And Alex is one of the top people in the world at this, and this is one of those things at my heart, and I know this very well, because thought leadership is really about this in a big way, this thinking and leadership. And ultimately the thinking goes spending that time actually having that message that you can lead into the world, and the world is looking for leaders that can help them in the area that you're looking to do. A lot of you don't understand, how in the world can I create a membership? Why do I need to create a membership? By the way, if you don't know that question, you don't know exactly how this could fit in your business model and your type of business. And because we're talking a lot of generic and generalities here, the fact is that the button to the right, not only can you participate in this and make a lot of money doing this, but you can actually receive this, not only this training for free, but also more importantly, because Alex hasn't really alluded to this, and that is you not only get trained and gather the understanding of all this stuff, it's a workshop where you actually get it done. And so what I want to do, though, is I want to offer you a free strategy session. Just click the button on the right, and when you do, it's going to ask you for the name, email, and phone number, and we'll contact you to see if you want to just go ahead and join, that's fine, but you'll see the page about the site intensive and all that. You'll see what it's all about. But we'll contact you, and we'll help you see how this can work in your business, industry, market, niche, or what have you, because it may not be clear to you. But that message is so critically important. So go ahead, Alex.
Well, the only way you can build a list is having a message and an offer. So basically it's traffic coming, and there's a message there for someone to take advantage of an offer, whether it's an opt-in or a membership or an assessment or whatever other kind of what Ryan Deiss would call a lead magnet, what I would call an ethical bribe. You build your list through your message. So if your message is no good, you're not going to build your list. That doesn't matter what kind of traffic you get, and you get more traffic if your message has more clarity. So I think the biggest stumbling block that most people are tripping over constantly that cripples them is their message is awful. They think they know their target audience, which is one thing, but if their message is awful and it's crippling them and they're not defining that reality, you're not going to build your list because you're confusing people and people are just turning away. The second thing you'll get clarity on is who your market is. Now, I used to think I went to my market first and identified who they are and then looked at the message. That's not what I do anymore. What I do is what most people do who are really smart, and I've learned it from them, is rather than finding the market and trying to craft a message to them, I find a market I go after and I find out other messages crafted to them. So I'm looking at my competitors or similar messages that are already out there, whether that's through the Google suggestion tool or through the AdWords that are being out there through Google or through Amazon, and see what messages are being submitted to that market, that target audience, and then I crystallize it, differentiate it, and I have a unique selling proposition so that there's a statement of benefit that's different and defined and a lot more clear than what everyone else has. So that's called creative outsourcing for my message. I'm outsourcing from my competitors. And here's the best part. When people opt out, that's someone who's very committed. They're wanting to opt out of my list. I send them back to the people that I modeled. So I actually will make money sending people away from me. When they click a link, they get cookied for the affiliate link, and then bam, when they order, if they do, I get paid for sending away problem children. I don't know a lot of people who do that. I'll show you how I do it at the event. So the second thing after message is be crystal clear about your market. Have a female and a male representation. We call that an avatar. But check out their psychographics, not their demographics. Who cares how old they are? Who cares if they're a man or a woman, or who cares where they live? What I'm interested in is their behavior. Where do they shop? What other memberships do they belong to? That's why Facebook ads work so well, because you have these psychographics working for you. What if you gave them a free offer on their birthday, and they got a birthday video, and they got something for free that they normally would have to pay $100 for? Or what if your whole team sat around the webcam and one time saying happy birthday, and they got that happy birthday message on the day of their birthday, because you have that when people are ordering any of your products. So your market is critically important. The key is to engage in your market, clarify your message, and engage with your market again and again and again. And then the third M is your media. And I have very specific media sources that are more powerful than others in the beginning. Not all media should be created and treated equally. Now, all people are created equal, but they shouldn't be treated equal. Some people in your market should be treated differently because they spend more money with you, but they're all created equal. They're all human, but they should be treated equal. So when someone spends more money with me, they have more access to me. Everyone who says yes to go to the membership site intensive will get 6 months of access to me via open office hours, so you can ask me questions like you probably want to ask right now, but you can't. Now, another thing that they get is, I think critically important, is a course called Productivity Secrets, and in 21 days you'll become more productive, faster, better, and easier in a very overwhelmed, over-communicated, and over-marketed, oversaturated society. And what you do the first thing in the morning will define who you become the last breath you take. So that very first thing, some people call it the one thing, is critical. I can show you how to make an hour a day or 50 minutes a day with a countdown timer with one of these guys, how you can change your life and make it an inflection point so that you're getting more done faster, better, and easier. In fact, with a lot less human effort. And then finally, there's media sources that generate more income faster. And we're going to show you how to do that and how to outsource it to other partners who do it daily, like my partners do, or you can do it yourself. But many times, if all you did was create a 7 to 10 minute video every single week, one, not even with your face on it, and you use the very simple software that we're introducing at the Hangout Marketing Intensive, well, all of a sudden, you will get to have more traction in 4 to 6 weeks. That's how long it takes. It's now, I'm calling it social authority optimization, not search engine optimization. It's no longer SEO in my book. It's SAO, social authority optimization, because that's what you're doing. And video is a great way to do it because Google loves video. They own Google and they own YouTube, so they love video. You'll also be a VIP. Now, the only way you become a VIP, get the open office hours and productivity secrets, is when we call you, and yes, we will call you. Why? Because members get called, clients don't. Members get called, customers don't. Members get called, prospects don't. Suspects don't. So we're going to call you. And when we call you, her name will be Sandra. She'll be calling from Australia, and she'll be at the event. You're going to say the word premium client. Premium client. If you say those two words, premium client, then you'll get those additional bonuses, and you'll be saving literally $3,000 because that's what you would get them online. The open office hours is $1,500 for 6 months. For 60 days, and the productivity secrets is $500. The VIP, getting access to VIP seating, I'm going to feed you. I'm going to give you additional gifts. You'll be with the other VIPs who have paid an additional $500. That's $500. So basically, you're getting for $1,000, you're getting $3,000 worth of goods and services, which are legitimate. They're not hyperinflated. That's what it is. You don't have to say yes, but what would happen if you didn't say yes? Something terrible. Nothing. What could happen if you did say yes? This is not the final seminar you'll ever go to, but I hope it is the seminar you'll go to in July. Now, seminars are not dead. Workshops are not dead, but people go to fewer of them. So if we make the cut, it's not because there's a time issue or a money issue. If we make the cut with you, it's because we made one of the top 5 priorities on your list. To not only show up on time, that's time limitation, but to actually pay the $1,000 to be there. For the most eye-opening 2.5 days you'll ever attend, there's an unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't register because of the guarantee, but the unconditional money-back guarantee is you sit through the entire 2.5 days, and then if it wasn't worth not only the amount, but many times more what you paid, you come to me and say, Alex, I wasn't engaged, I wasn't in the community, and that's if I don't catch you, because I'll catch you. If you're snoozing, you're not in the room, I'm going to look for you, right? I'll give you your money back, right? And you'll never come to another event of mine again because there's no need for you, because I'm not right for you. That's another thing. Once you're out, you're out. This is not, let's check out and see what's going to happen. If that's the way you live your life, then that's what's showing up for you, and that's why you're watching right now, because you're not getting the results you want. So what could happen if you did say yes and you did stick with this? Your life could change. This could be the beginning of a bigger, brighter future. This could be the one, not just another bright, shiny object that you've probably been chasing. I'm assuming here, but I don't want to be so presumptive. It could be another bright, shiny object you chase, but I want it to be the object that you chase and you stick to and allow me to train you for the rest of your years. So that's what the event has in store. That's why I want you to come on board. I'm not shy about saying it, and we will be sold out whether or not you want to attend. It's just a matter if you get in before it's sold out inside the room. We have another opportunity outside the room, which you'll hear more about in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so one other thing I want to say about this is there's a few things. Notice this, is that when Alex was explaining this, this session, this hangout, is really about advanced monetization secrets. Really, if you had to boil it down to one word, it's about monetization, right? But you notice, and it's also about membership sites. These are 2 other M's. And you notice when Alex actually told you what he's going to deliver for you, he didn't mention membership sites and monetization. Now, is he going to deliver membership site, how to create one? Of course he is. Okay, because you're going to actually create them while you're there. Okay, but do you notice that the lack of emphasis on that? Because anybody can teach you how to create a membership site. Okay, but not too many people can help you get the message you need in order to get to the world and have the world want to adopt your message, buy into your message, and buy into you as being a member of your community. That's number one. And number two is not most people can help you to identify your market in ways that really help you see a market that can really be a community, which you can actually do some of these premium clients. Now, we had another session on that, so we may not get to a whole lot about the premium clients, but that's the other side of it. And of course, the third, he's going to talk to you about this media, because ultimately it's about this traffic, right? And he just mentioned this, of course. But ultimately, the whole reason for doing this is this advanced monetization, right? You're going to make money, and you're going to get your message out to the world. So, but there's one other thing I want to share with you, which is really important, and that is I want this to be given to you at no charge. In other words, I want you to actually be able to take on everything that Alex has just talked to you about at no charge. And here's my offer for you, my additional offer. Number one is that, you know, I'm in the thought leadership business. I help people get their message out to the world, and I help them become leaders, market leaders of all kinds. There's very few people in my sphere of influence that I trust as much as Alex. I don't think there's he's my top three for sure, and he may be my top one, but he's definitely one of my top people in the world. And here's why he's the top one for you. Number one is when Alex is finished with you, you will have a message, you will have a market, and you will be able to get that message out to that market, and you will be able to monetize it. Okay? Now, why is that important for me? Well, many of you who are watching right now know that I produced the Joint Venture Summit, which is the premier event for profitable strategic partnering. But ultimately, my business is about helping you tap into the different places where you can get more members, where you can build your community. I can bring you to people who have 100,000 or 500,000 people on their list, on their Facebook pages, and things like that. I can get them to promote the people who I say that they should promote, because they know that I vet people very seriously. The problem is that ultimately I can't refer you to anybody unless you have a message that is resonant, right? Unless you have a market that you've identified, unless you have a way to convert these people into clients where they're going to produce some revenue for the people that I would want to send you to. So ultimately, you could become my partner today. You could pay me all the money in the world to become that, but I'm not going to be able to effectively market you. And here's my business, this particular part of my business, which is the Strategic Partnering Network. What I do is I sell money 10 cents on a dollar, which means if I bring in $100,000 in revenue to you, okay, you're going to give me 10 grand. That's ultimately it. If I bring in 10 grand for you, you're going to give me $1,000. That's how it works. It's really that simple. However, I won't bring you any partner revenues if you don't have a good message. If your message is going to make people opt out of my partner lists, if your message is not going to actually convert people into changing their lives, if it's not going to help them in a great way. Alex will help you get to that point. So what I'm saying is I'm willing to actually pay for you to actually go through Alex's program, because if you do, you'll end up literally next month with everything I need to be able to help you be my partner. Okay? And so here's how it works. What you're going to do is you're going to go through this, develop your message, develop your conversion, and everything we just talked about. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of me charging a couple $1,000s to join my strategic partnering program as a regular member, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you that at no charge. It's going to start at the event. When the event is over, I'm doing a special session, which is going to actually talk to you about how to do member JVs. Okay, and that's going to be the start of this. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to bring you on in my do-it-for-you joint venture services, which means that I'm going to have me and my team actually bring you into partnerships that can get you more content if you need that for your members, and also on top of that, bring you more members. You have your offer in front of anybody who you want that fits your market niche. Okay, and you'll be able to convert them and make that happen. Of course, let's pretend I do that, and I do that on my dime, and I'll work for you up to a year to make that happen for you. And what I'll do is that my first goal, is to bring you in $10,000 in revenue from some partner deal or deals. Okay, and when I do, normally I'd get paid $1,000 from you. Okay, however, in this case, I'm going to allocate that first $1,000 to reimburse you to pay for to go to Alex's event. Which means now you not only get to go and it doesn't cost you anything, but you also have a team working for you to actually promote this and make this membership site and your whole membership community a reality. But on top of that, you're going to bring in $10,000 to boot. Okay, so that's what I want to do, and I think this makes this pretty much an irresistible offer for anybody who is serious about their business. There's only, in my opinion, there's only one reason why you can't do this. Is that if, first of all, if you refuse to, and some of the, Alex, I'm sure will tell you some of the reasons why that's a misnomer. But, okay, the only legitimate reason is that you don't see yourself having a product that's valuable, okay, number one, okay, or number two, you'll find yourself that you just don't see how members fit in your business. Maybe you have a product business. Maybe you have a service business that just doesn't seem to be related to members. And if that's not the case, what I want you to do is, even if you don't want to buy, I want you to click that little button on the right that says get the training and the program and the coaching for free for premium clients training and coaching. And then you're going to ask your name and email address and phone number. And we're going to have somebody from our staff call you. And what's going to happen is that we're going to talk to you about how it can actually work for you to create a membership site that will, and it's really a membership and it's a community, that will allow you to do all the things we talked about. What will work for you to make this happen? How can we help you in the joint venture way to do that? And then when you do that, I think you're going to find some pretty amazing things. So go ahead, Alex. Back to you.
Well, first of all, I don't have a product or I don't have a funnel. Great. No bad habits. You don't have to unring any bell. You can start from scratch. And if you've had procrastination or creative avoidance problems over the years, it'll stop at the event because we're going to give you a reason to move forward because there's going to be so much pain of non-movement. I'm not going to motivate you. You're going to come pre-motivated before you even show up. Number two, it's not in my budget. It's not in my wallet or budget to pay for this. Well, is it? Are you paying for food? Are you paying for car or car insurance? Don't answer that question. Are you paying for other responsibilities that you have? Can you find a sponsor to pay for you and then pay them back by giving them double the value in coaching of what you learned there using the materials that we gave you, which you're allowed to do? Can you find creative ways? Now, when someone says, I don't have the money, they're not telling me they don't have the money. What they're telling me is it's not a priority for them in the top 5 for them to allocate that level of financial freedom, right? Finance in capitalistic society brings some level of freedom. They don't want to go deeper into debt, in their mind what debt is. They don't look at this as an appreciating asset. They don't look at themselves as getting themselves out of debt as a result of who they meet there and what they're going to learn there. I don't care what you learn as much as who you meet, because who you meet is going to be much more valuable. Some people are going to do it for you if you let them. So the money is never an issue. It's about priority, which brings me to time. I don't have the time. I have a previous commitment, or I have too many personal commitments. Well, really, you've been watching this for 53 minutes. Why? Why on earth would you be watching something for 53 minutes? You made it this far. I don't believe you. I don't believe that you have too many personal commitments. I think your personal commitments are kind of messed up. And I can coach you and mentor you to get past that. Now, if that upsets you, good, because that level of response is the beginning of being motivated. And even anger has its benefits because it'll get you motivated to say, okay, I'll show you, Alex. Let's see if I can't do this. Well, that's where I want you to be. I want to challenge you because you're in this now 54 minutes, and what you're telling me is you don't have time. Well, you have 86,400 seconds like I do, like Mark does, like Oprah Winfrey does, like J.K. Rowling of Harry Potter books does, like Steve Jobs did, like Bill Gates does, like Sir Richard Branson does, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama does, like Anderson Cooper does of CNN, or anyone else you can think of. You have 52 weeks a year, and if you want to look at a week, you have 168 hours in a week. You have the same amount of time as anybody else. All you're telling me when you say I don't have time is you are lying to yourself, and you are publicly lying, and I'm outing you right now. It is a lie because you are telling me that it's not a priority. So tell me that. Tell yourself and the rest of the world it's not a priority. And if it is, you wasted 55 minutes of your time. Do something else that is a priority. It doesn't take you 55 minutes to decide whether or not this is for you. You've already decided it is for you. The indecisive is a very costly place to be. If you're undecided, then let me convince you. Say yes. But if you're indecisive, if you're incapable of making a decision, this is especially for you, because we will show you how to make a decision in that room, starting with the decision you make to get in that room.
Okay, one little quick interruption here. Some people were wondering about the page when you buy. It actually has two different prices on it. One is for $14.97 and it was one for $9.97. What you want to do is you want to click the $9.97 button, because the $14.97 is for the VIP, for people who want to buy the VIP. But because Alex and we're actually going to give you the VIP as a part of this.
For free.
So click the $9.97 one, and then when Sandra calls you, you're going to say premium client, those words, and then she'll get you the upgrade to the VIP. So I just want to make sure that was clear.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of doing it. The reason we do this is to literally, it's an offer to ethically bribe you to get in the room. I have yet to meet someone who didn't tell me that one of our events were interesting. No one is ever bored, ever. And this is going to be family-centered, so let me take it a step further. There's going to be free childcare there. So don't tell me you got to keep your kids at home and so you have to watch them. No, this is summer months. Bring the kids with you. My kids are going to be there. Sandra Bravo, my assistant trainer, her kids are going to be there. I'm going to have kids from friends of mine who I can't wait for their kids to meet my kids. There's our legacy right there. And the Harris family is going to be there. And the Harris has a lot more kids than all of us combined. So bottom line is we are going to have legions of children there, and I'm hoping they sneak in the room to see some of the processes that the adults are doing, because you know what? We don't really grow up. We only learn how to act in public, some of us. And so as adults, we get so dignified. This is the time. This is your time. And once all bets are off, they're off, because I have 108 slots. There's 108 wires that are actually getting connected to the internet. There's no Wi-Fi. You can't get in the room beyond the 108. You'll watch it from the outside, and you can do that. But if you do that, you won't grab and extract the nectar in that room. This is your chance. It won't be the final event I ever do. It won't be the final time I ever teach it, but you'll get such a head start if you do it now. So I'm not going to tell you this is it. You're going to die if you don't do it. No, you're not going to die. But what's going to die is a dream that is inside you. And I don't want that hope and dream to die when you're watching it after 58 minutes and you're saying, should I do it? Should I do it? Of course you should. Dink that little voice on each shoulder and just get out and do it. You can find the money to do it. Honest to God.
Yeah, and also there's a couple other things that are going on right now that it makes all the sense in the world for you to act right now. And for two ways. One is you're going to increase the time 6 months in advance before you could probably do this again, and therefore 6 months until you're really knocking out of the park with some of the stuff that Alex is now doing, not only with everything we talked about here, but with premium clients, which if you have high-end clients, we didn't really talk about it on this Hangout. You could probably check out the other ones we did in the last couple weeks here about that, because he also goes into that in detail at this event, which allows you, if you have any kind of high-price offerings or want to, this becomes an absolute no-brainer, because one new client, which this system will create for you, will pay for this entire thing over again.
So here's the final 2 minutes. Here's the final 2 minutes. So I'm going to write down, I want you to repeat, $10,000 times 1. Repeat that for me, Mark.
$10,000 times 1.
And then I'm going to write 100 times 100. $100 times 100. Got it?
100 times $100.
Here it is. So 10,000 times 1. If you met with someone for 30 minutes a day for 250 days out of the year, every weekday, okay, you could get 10 grand. You probably would want more, okay? And what would you sell for $100? Maybe your self-esteem allows you to sell something for $100, but can your marketing ability sell 100 of them? Let's say your marketing ability stinks. You can get one sale. This is 100. This is 99 more sales. Now, let's take a look at this. Let's assume every one of your clients are problem children. Let's just assume that's what you attract, problem children. Why? Because let's say you've been a problem child in one of your lives, okay? So let's say every single person's a problem child. Well, how many problem children do you have here? You have
One.
one. Just one. And have they funded their problem childlikeness?
Yes.
Okay? I should say childishness. Now, how many problem children do you have here?
100.
And have they funded their problem childishness?
Yeah, no, they have not. And
They,
here's what's even more important is that the people at the $100 level, okay, have a lot more problems. They're a lot more bigger percentage-wise of problem children than the people at the $10,000 level.
here's what happens. If you decide to go the $100 route, which is, start low, go high, then you're going to be upselling, and that is not what gravity is. Gravity is start high, go low. That's called downselling. You will never get to this because these guys will keep you so busy trying to exaggerate the fact that they paid you so much money that your self-esteem will be playing tricks on your mind and heart and saying, I'm only worth $100, right? Well, how about you got 2 or 3 people at 10,000? You got 3 people at 10,000. You got a nice little salary there, okay? So that's all we're talking about. Look at the math, look at the economics, like our mutual friend Jim Rohn talked about, and like I'm going to be interviewing you on a Hangout. You're on the cover of Billionaire Mentor magazine, and those of you who continue education with me, you'll get Apple juice. That means on iTunes, you'll be getting more juice if you have an article in Billionaire Mentor magazine, and be right up there with Jack Canfield, Harvey McKay, Mark Harris, Alex Mandossian, and whoever else that you can think of. They're in that magazine, buddies of mine. You have an opportunity. You'll learn more about that at the event. Here's the main argument. Can you get one person at 10 grand, or can you get 100 people at $100? I think this is a lot harder than this, and this has the same impact. In fact, imagine the self-esteem boost when you get your first 10,000 person. There's no self-esteem boost at 100. You're happy, but there's no boost in self-esteem. When you get your second and third, okay, there may be a little boost, but if you get your second and third here, now you're unstoppable. Now you may go to 15 or 20,000. That is the rationale. If that doesn't convince you, I don't know why you're here for 63 minutes, to be honest. That's the best I've got. So if that doesn't get you in, I'm done. You win.
Last thing, yeah, and you're right. And the other issue is, believe it or not, having a membership, having a community that you have a relationship with is the leading #1 strategy in order to actually create those kind of premium clients. There is no better one, because ultimately it's that level of intimacy that allows them to know that they can know, love, and trust you enough to give you that kind of money.
I'm gonna be borderline crazy right now when I tell you this, okay? But it's a natural physical impulse. I know literally hundreds of friends who are willing to pay $50,000 a year to go into a urinal in a country club and network with men who play golf and pay on top of the country club fee an additional, greens fee, etc. to play golf. I don't play golf, but I've belonged to country club, so I can have the right to swim at that pool, which, by the way, is different than another pool. Why? Because they're members. I don't know anyone who would call themselves a $100 member. I know a lot of people who would call themselves a $10,000 member. Why? Because they demand that distinction. They want the status. And why not show off your $10,000 members? What does that attract? More $10,000 members. Even better, $15,000 members. The best thing you can tell a member is, I'm going to grandfather you. I'm raising the price to $12K. Are they happy? They couldn't be happier. And if they want to renew, they renew at $10,000, not at $12,000. These are just some of the quick and easy strategies you can do that your self-esteem, I'm going to say flat out, that's what prevents me. Your self-esteem and your little voice prevents you from getting. You can do it if you're just given the ability to do it mentally, emotionally, and physically. I know spiritually you're able, but you need the mental, emotional, and physical skills and tools in order to do that. And then we're going to give you the community just to support you, because everyone is going to be selling a $200 product when you're there. And you're going to do it in less than 2.5 days. I can't wait to watch it happen. Never been done before, and I know it's going to work.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited about this, so click the button, make sure you connect with us, and be part of my community and Alex's community, because we want you to be there. We want you to experience what we're talking about. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain, and we're putting our heart and soul in this to make sure that this actually can happen for you and for you to join us in this way. So do it now, and Alex, I'll let you have the final word.
Final word is engage in membership don't commit to clientship. Being a client is one thing, and that requires a commitment, but engage in membership, go in long term. The reason why we're limping right now with most of internet marketing and people say email doesn't work and all that kind of stuff is because they're not members, they're outside of the wall. Once you go inside the wall, there's a moat there, there's a wall that keeps others out. You will open up those emails because you are a member, you made a much deeper commitment. So not all commitments are created equal. Not all members are treated equal. If you remember those words, I'll see you at the event, and I can't wait.
Well, guys, thank you very much, Alex. Thank you, everyone, for investing your time in watching this. Hopefully it was extremely helpful, because if you haven't taken notes, remember, watch it again and take notes the second time. And the fact is that these strategies will be what will make your business become a reality. If you don't believe me and you don't do what we're talking about, don't join us. Put it up on your wall and see when you finally do those things whether they'll actually be what actually brings you into the big boys realm here in this area. So have a blessed day, guys. We're looking forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, feel free to call us. Take care.